International Brussels. My name is Thomas Huddleston. I'm an international expert working with the University of Liège on citizenship, diversity, and political participation. I coordinated the 2018 Vote Brussels campaign that was able to help double the international voter registration rate for the local elections. This video series is a training on Brussels international democracy. It's going to give you all of the key information and inspiration that you need to become an effective mobilizer for Brussels democracy. In this training video series, I'm going to get into how international voters can transform Brussels, what you can do individually as an international voter, and what we can do together as a community. But before that, we need to see the big picture on why this work is so important for Brussels to become the most democratic, cosmopolitan city in the world. So I first want to talk to you about why Brussels has so much potential as a cosmopolitan democracy, giving you some of the key statistics and key insights into Brussels elections. Brussels is the second most diverse metropolis in the world after Dubai, but Dubai is not a democracy. So Brussels is the most diverse city in the democratic world. So what does that mean in Brussels? Well, actually only about a quarter of the population was born here in Belgium to parents who themselves were born in Belgium. You know, you would, if Brussels were 10 people, you would say that one of them was a Francophone born in Belgium to Francophone parents. Another was a Dutch speaker born to Dutch-speaking parents. But then all of the rest are coming from all around the world. So you would have another two who would be born in Belgium to immigrant parents, one from the EU, one from outside the EU. And then you would have another two who were naturalized Belgians who had been born abroad, mostly from outside the EU, but also from the EU. And then overall, you would have 1/3 of the population that are international, non-Belgian citizens. 2/3 of them are from the EU, 1/3 from outside the EU. So that means that internationals are 1/3 of all potential voters here in Brussels. When we think about Brussels democracy, we have to remember we are Brussels. Brussels is us. So who are these potential international voters? The top nationalities, as I said, are mobile EU citizens: French, Romanian, Italian, Spanish, Polish, Portuguese, Bulgarian, German, Greek, and then from around the world. And these local voters matter because we all have a lot more power in local democracy than we often think here in Belgium. So when you talk about elections and power in Belgium, many people imagine that the power is still somewhere at the top with the federal government, with the three communities, Dutch, French, and German speaking, with the three regions, Flanders, Wallonia, and Brussels. And they don't imagine that there are a lot of powers for Belgium's 581 communes, because they often come from countries also where local authorities don't have a lot of power. But actually, I would argue that power in Belgium really works in the opposite way. A lot of the power still resides with Belgium's communes, and they're constantly working with the regions, the communities, and the federal government. The communes are the main advocates speaking up for local citizens and their interests and making sure they're heard by other levels of government. Communes are also able to block many initiatives that they do not like, but they can also seize many policies and opportunities that are provided by the other levels of government. And they influence each other. Now, you might not believe me, but maybe you might believe Belgium's most powerful and popular politicians. So do you recognize these two men? They are, as I said, Belgium's most powerful, most popular politicians on the Dutch-speaking and French-speaking side. Yes, that's Bart de Wever and Paul Magnet. Now, do you know where they hold political office? What positions do they hold representing Belgian democracy? Well, Bart de Wever is mayor of Antwerp, Flanders' most populous city, and Paul Magnet is mayor of Charleroi, Wallonia's most populous city. And it regularly happens that Belgian politicians choose to step down from the federal or regional government to go back to the local level because they want to choose what's most important. And the reason why it's so important is because we have more power at local level in Belgium than anywhere else in Europe. Your commune can change your street, your neighborhood, your services, your security, so many things about your quality of life. So they affect how you're treated and received when you get city hall services at the population, foreigners, or civil documents offices. They run most of the cultural, social, and sports facilities in your area. They organize the daycare and invest in a lot of the school infrastructure. They support the local economy and housing, including building social housing. They manage most of the parking, traffic, and mobility rules in your area. They are in charge of the police in Belgium, and they coordinate public security in your area. They also coordinate most of the public works, parks, and public spaces. They handle the trash pickup at the common trash bins that you see on many streets and the street cleaning. They handle most of the urban planning and environmental permits. And they coordinate the Belgian welfare offices, CPAS, that offer services to vulnerable groups like the homeless or unemployed or elderly or migrants or refugees. So, what issue is most important for your vote? What do you love in your local area? What do you want to change? What are your ideas? Personally, for me, I think that over the past 2 years, I've spent so much more time in my neighborhood walking around. I really know what I love, what it needs. And with everything that's going on around the world, in the country I originally come from, and other countries that I hold dear, I really now realize that Brussels is my second home, and I want it to be a place of opportunity and welcome and future for other people like me who want to live here, work here, raise a family here. So, what issue is going to be most important for your vote? Well, every 6 years, we in Brussels have the chance to participate in the local elections. We elect the city councillors who make up the city council, and those city councillors will then elect the aldermen and the mayor who form the city college. They will also appoint the representatives of the commune on the CPS, the welfare office, overseeing the police and representing the commune in so many associations and intercommunal structures that determine the daily functioning of a region like Brussels. And when we vote, we have more political choices in Belgium than in most countries. Have a look at your own commune, and you'll see that across the Brussels region, we have so many parties that are represented in the mayorship and in the coalitions that run the alderman positions across Brussels. When you're going to be voting, you have a lot of choices. You can choose a national party. Sometimes they come together to form a common list. For example, the mayor often has a liste du bourgmestre that includes many parties. But you can also vote for local parties that will pop up in your area and may even get a seat or two. You can also choose not just to vote for the party itself, right? You can actually choose instead to vote for specific candidates on that party's list. That helps to rearrange the list and can affect who is elected. You can even vote for EU citizen candidates who are running for the city council. So we have a lot of power here at the local level to make Brussels the most democratic and cosmopolitan city in the world.